Hare Krishna. So we will continue our discussion on Prabhupada purports. This is a very important section. This is the Mangalacharan, which Sukadeva Goswami is starting from this verse. He did not do Mangalacharan. He was uh, directly started with answering the questions, and he answered the question of Parikshit Maharaj. And when Parikshit Maharaj again asked the questions, now he's not directly asking, tell me the Leela of the Lord, 10th canto, Bhagavatam, Krishna's pastimes. He's asking about the Srishti Leela, the creation. Now here he is starting with that. These are very nice verses where he is expressing. This is how he is expressing his feelings for the Lord. And what is this we discussed? It's enthusiasm. When you have faith, then you are very enthusiastic. And this is actually what Sukadeva Goswami is showing his enthusiasm. And he talks about the mercy of the Lord. The Lord is the only powerful, he is the merciful, he is transcendental to this world, all these things. But at the same time, he intervenes in these affairs of this world. That is and removes the obstacles from the path of his devotees. And he gives shelter to the Paramahamsas, helps Jnanamishra Bhaktas, and to merge into Brahman, and he bestows prema. This is what is this verse starts about, 13th verse. So this verse he just said, let me offer my respectful business unto Supreme Personality of Godhead for the creation of this world, accept the three modes, is complete, he is the complete whole residing within the body of everyone, and his ways are inconceivable. So he is creating, and then with the help of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, he is accepting three modes. That means he is taking care of the three modes. And as a Paramatma, he is residing in everyone's heart. And in this way, he is inconceivable. How he can do all the things. And simultaneously, the separate person doing his Leela, nothing to do with this material world also. That is what is. But this verse is very important. 13th verse, where he says, I again offer my respectful obeisances unto the form of complete existence and transcendent, who is liberated of pious devotees from all distresses, destroyer of further advances in atheistic temperaments of the non-devotee demons. For the transcendentalists who are situated in topmost spiritual perfection, he grants their specific destination. So what does this mean? This means that he is not only powerful, previous shloka tells he is powerful, but he is also merciful. This is what this verse is. Previous shloka is telling about the power of Lord. This shloka is telling about the mercy of Lord. He is transcendental to this world, and so Akila Sattva Murtaya. Akila Sattva Murtaya means he is transcendental to them. But at the same time, he intervenes in the affairs of this world. By how he intervenes? He removes the obstacles from the path of his devotees. He gives shelter to Paramahamsas and helps Jnanamishra Bhaktas, Yogamishra Bhaktas to merge into Brahman. And most important, he bestows prema. Now, Sukadeva Goswami then speaks at that time about unlimited, incomparable Lord. And along with that, the sweetness, which is inconceivably combined in one person. He is unlimited, inconceivable, but at last he is also very sweet. And that is what this next verse is. We'll just so here this Namo Namaste is Namaha is very important. We'll discuss that also. But this verse, what Sukadeva Goswami says, let me offer my respectful obeisance unto him who is the associate of the members of Edu dynasty who is always a problem for non-devotees. He is a supreme enjoyer of both the material and spiritual worlds, yet he enjoys his own abode in the spiritual sky. There is no one equal to him because his transcendental opulence is immeasurable. Now he says that he is very far for those who do not believe in him. That's what he is telling. But he is very close to those who accept his protection. And he says that now uh, he belongs to one who is completely surrendered to Lord. This is what he belongs to. Now, this is a very important understanding between Abrahamic religion, Mayavadi, and Vaishnava philosophy, especially Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. Vaishnava philosophy. The difference is, according to Abrahamic religions, Lord is somewhere very far, and we are here somewhere in this material world, and He is with His own things, doing His own things, and we are somehow suffering here, and one day we have to go there, and He has nothing to do this material world. We have to somehow struggle and develop something and go to them. Now, in this situation, what happens? You cannot have a personal relation with the Lord because He is very far. And if you keep the distance very far, you cannot relate to Him properly. This is the problem with that understanding that Lord is very far in the spiritual world, nothing to do. We have to somehow figure it out. And there is second category is Mayavadis. They bring Lord too close. They say, you can be Lord, I can be Lord, Lord is everywhere, everything is Lord. This type of philosophy also too close, also cannot have that relationship. But here in Gaudiya Siddhanta, our understanding Lord is there in his abode, he is doing his lila, but he is also very concerned, he is compassionate, he intervenes. That means he is present here along with the spiritual world, he is there in spiritual world, but he is also present here. This will help us to develop a relation with him. He is concerned. When I call him, he is also there here. I can bring him in the form of a deity and serve him and develop a relationship with him. So this is the most important difference we need to understand, that even though he is far, you can have connection. We can relate to him, can develop a relation with him. This is not possible with other type of understanding. This is one of the major uh, why it is important, because prema pumarto mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur matamidam, the highest perfection to attain is love. Even they also say love of God. Even Bible also they say. Now to develop love means you need to have relationship, and relationship is possible when the person is there with you. If it's very far and you are, then it is not possible to develop a love. He is in his own abode, I am my place. How can I relate to him? How can I, without relation, how there can be love? And if you are bringing too close, then also it is not possible. They say, ah, he's same, I am also one day, I'll also become like him. Then also it is not. But when we know the greatness and when we know the sweetness, when we start relating to the person, then we develop love. So this is the way love can be developed. Anarpita charamchira karunaya avartirna karo samarpitum unnata ujjala rasa. The highest rasa, the highest form of love. Of course, here dharma projita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsranam satam. The highest, not dharma artha kam moksha, but we have pancham purushartha, that is love. To develop love, need relationship. Relationship means it should be sufficient, not very far, not very close. You need to have a distance where you can relate to the person and then develop love. That is the main difference we can understand. So here, same thing. Sudhir Goswami is telling he is far from those who do not believe him, but very close to those who accept his protection. And here one who completely surrenders to Lord, he belongs to them. And this is what is. And now this is a very important verse, because in the Mangalacharan, there is one important word, Radasa. This word, people say that Sudeva Goswami did not say the name of Radharani. But Sudeva Goswami, in the beginning, in the Mangalacharan, he pronounces the name of Srimati Radharani. Because it is said, if he takes the name of Radha, he may go into trance. He is going into trance for 6 months. But Parikshit Maharaj had only 7 days. So he didn't want to take chance for Parikshit Maharaj. If he goes into trance, Parikshit Maharaj by the time he is already spiritual world, but he wanted to give something to Parikshit Maharaj. So that's why here, but the word Radha is mentioned in Mangalacharan by Sudeva Goswami. That is because Prabhupada says also here in the purport, he is always near his pure devotees, sometimes becoming a member of the family of Yadu, sometimes a friend of Arjuna, sometimes a neighbor, inhabitants of Vrindavan, sometimes son of Nanda Maharaj and all. And he surpasses all. He has no equal. Why? Radhasa. By power, because his internal, his personal energy is always with him. That's why no one is equal to him. So this is the way the name is mentioned. Just like it is, the example is given. According to Acharyas, every shloka of Bhagavatam is glorifying Srimati Radharani only Bhagavatam. What is the example we remember? It is remember of Mehendi. Mehendi is actually green in color. But when you apply and remove Mehendi, it becomes all red. That means the red color is there in Mehendi, but you take the leaves, they are green leaves, you crush them, it is all green, but when you apply, there is red in that. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam, every shloka, it looks different things, but ultimately it is glorifying Srimati Radharani only. This is the essence of all the Shastras and Srimad Bhagavatam also. What is that? That is glorification of Srimati Radharani. And then this is the, we'll just read the purports of these 2 verses a little bit, and then we'll go for the next. This Mangalacharan is very nice because it is giving some very nice understanding. Yes, Matuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams. Prabhuji, it is said that when Shukadeva Goswami or even the pure devotees, when they take the name of Radharani, they go into a trance. So, but why doesn't that happen when they take the name of Krishna then, Prabhuji? Because they take the name of Lord Krishna so many times.
They also go in trance when they take name of Krishna. But when they take name of Rana, they are much more ecstatic. That their ecstasy increases many folds when they take name of Radharani. Especially depends on different devotees, different bhav. Sudeva Goswami is very close to him, and in spiritual world he must be very close to Radharani. That is making him go into trance. It depends. Somebody may become trance by taking name of Krishna also, and somebody is just absorbed. But somebody who, if he is having so much feeling for Srimati Radharani, then Sukadeva Goswami is a person who has so much feeling, so much emotion for Srimati Radharani. That's why he's going into trance. And depends. Somebody may have some great emotions from some other personalities. If somebody is in Vatsalya Bhav, if he takes name of Yashoda, he may go into trance. It depends on what type of association. Yeah, like Pundrik Vidyanidhi. Yeah, he went into trance as soon as he saw peacock feather only. Like, yeah, according to your the type of how they have, they may go into trance.
But it is so surprising that even when Sita Goswami spoke about the conversation of Parikshit and Shukadeva Goswami also, he never took the name of Radharani anywhere, Prabhuji.
He is just repeating what he heard from Sukadeva Goswami. So there was no need for him to take rather his name.
Okay.
He's just
Yeah.
repeating. He's just because the questions they asked and the answers he gave, it is connected to it directly.
Yeah. Because this actually often comes to everyone's mind why there is no reference of Srimati Radharani in the Bhagavatam, though you have explained already that Shukadeva Goswami goes into a trance when he takes the name of Radharani. That's given by most of the speakers, but it's like, sometimes intriguing why, you know, they don't go into trance and to take Krishna's name. Yeah, okay, you have explained that, Babuji. Thank you so much.
Radharani's name is there everywhere in Bhagavatam. That's what. If there are the devotees, they are able to see it because Bhagavatam is multi-dimensional. At least three-dimensional is there. We can only see one and two. But if you go depth, then you can see another perspective of Bhagavatam, where you see it's continuously glorifying Srimati Radharani only. And that is how they can see that, oh, this is meant to glorify. Because if you say poetry, poetry is not direct meaning. Like if you write directly, it is like some essay. But poem, you don't write like essay. You have to write something. Uh, the the it is dark everywhere, and it is very chill, and the the knife of the blade of barber is on the throat. So now, if he is explaining these things, so one poet is writing, it's dark in Europe, it's dark, it's cold in Italy, and the barber's knife is on the throat. Something is writing, but what he want to tell that we are in Russia and this is Stalin is ruling the country. He's like almost like cutting our throat. Now this is poetry. Poetry means they don't tell directly, but they write something which indicates something else. Similarly, Bhagavatam is also poetry. And now Sukadeva Goswami is writing something, but is indicating something else. That is another two examples we discussed is you want to show this Arundhati Nakshatra because it is so small, you cannot see directly. It is between Saptarishi stars. So you show Saptarishi Mandal, and then you say, okay, you are seeing the third and fourth star of Saptarishi Mandal. In between, small one you see that is. Now you want to tell that star, but you are showing Saptarishi Mandal. That is also same thing, Shaka Chandrayaan. Well, the whole Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami want to tell about Radharani. That is telling completely indirectly. That is what is poetry, and that is the beauty of poetry. That you don't directly tell, but you indirectly are indicating that object. That is poetry. And Sudhir Goswami is completely in samadhi. He is in trance and he is explaining all these things.
Okay,
Yes.
Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Today, this Gorgon Maharaj, his appearance is there, and he also is one who was in complete trance. And when he used to take the name of Krishna, to go into trance many times. One time he went into trance, they didn't understand what it is. And then they called some very senior devotee of God, Mutt. Then they came. Then he said, yes, this is prema. He is already in the position of prema, that's why he's into trance. And this happened. This happens if somebody is in prema, by taking name of Krishna, they can go in.
Mm.
This is Bhagavatam is completely like that. For us to understand Bhagavatam, we need to do so much of sadhana. It is not just information. This is a difference between Vedic education and modern education. We discussed this also. Why people like Google so much now? Because you get so much information very easily. But previously it was not like that. You can get secret mantras also. You type secret mantras. But to get mantra, previously a person need to so much develop humility, so much develop a service attitude. Then Guru gives that mantra. Now the mantra is freely available, but it does not have any much relevance only because it does not transform the heart. It does not
Mm.
take a person more deeper. But previously, person is to work very hard, develop that qualities, make himself qualified. That is why the mantras in Vedic culture were very, very restricted, very, what do you say, they were given with so much restrictions and reservations because they see is not qualified. Similarly, to understand Bhagavatam, it's not just some information. We need to know, we need to have that sadhana, develop that humility. Then we can also see Srimati Radharani in every shloka of Bhagavatam without having a name. And that is not very great thing. To write directly name means it is not a very good poetry. You indirectly glorify, it is considered much more sweeter. You are telling about the same person, but you don't tell his name, but everything you tell and it indicates about that person.
Mm. Yeah.
Like
Nice, Prabhuji.
one devotee wrote, he wanted to write a appreciation for his senior and on his birthday, but he didn't, but the senior don't like that he glorify his birthday. So what this devotee wrote, oh, I came to this temple and I saw that because of the training I got, I'm able to wake up early morning in spite of late night sleep also, and able to do my morning program nicely. Now he is telling because of the training I got. Who gave the training? His senior only gave. So instead of telling that because of you I am like this, he just tell, see, because of the training I got, I am able to do my morning program very nicely. This he sent on his birthday. So this is a indirectly is glorifying his senior. So this is called poetry. Like that. Yes. Now we'll just read few points from this purport and next purport, and then we'll go. We will try to understand the meaning what Sukadeva Goswami is trying to explain. So here Prabhupada writes. So in this translation, he is telling that how Lord is intervening, even though he is very powerful, he is inconceivable. He is intervening in this material world, helping the devotees and helping the people who are Jnana Mishra, Yoga Mishra Bhakti to get liberation and to give prema to devotees. All these things he is doing in this material world. Prabhupada writes, Lord Sri Krishna is the complete form of all existence, both material and spiritual. Akhila means complete or that which is not khila, inferior. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, there are two kinds of nature, Prakriti, namely the material nature and the spiritual nature, or the external internal potency of the Lord. The material nature is called apara or inferior, and the spiritual nature is called superior or transcendental. Therefore, the form of Lord is not inferior material nature, he is complete transcendence, and he is Murti or having transcendental form. The less intelligent men who are unaware of his transcendental form describe him as an impersonal Brahman. But Brahman is simply the rays of his transcendental body, Isya Prabha. The devotees who are aware of his transcendental form render his service, therefore, the Lord also reciprocates by his causeless mercy and thus delivers his devotees from all distress. So, this is the point. Like, devotees understand that Lord intervenes in this world. That helps them to develop a relationship. The pious men who follow the rules of the Vedas are also dear to the Lord, and therefore the pious men of this world are also protected by Him. The impious and the non devotees are against the principles of the Vedas, and so Such people are always hampered by the for making advances in their nefarious activities. Some of them who are specifically favored by the Lord are killed by him personally, as in the case of Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, and Kamsa. And thus, such demons get salvation and are thereby checked for further progress in their demonic activities. Just like a kind father, either in his favor upon the devotees or his punishment of the demons, is ever kind to everyone because he is the complete existence of for all individual existences. Right, the Paramahamsa stage of existence is the highest perfectional stage of spiritual values. According to Srimati Kunti, the Lord is factually understood by Paramahamsas only. As there is gradual realization of transcendence from impersonal Brahman to localized Paramatma to the personality of Godhead, Purushottama, the Lord Krishna, similarly, there is gradual promotion of one situation in the spiritual life of sannyasi. Kutichaka, Baudaka, Parivarajaka, Paramahamsa. There are four stages of sannyasis that are explained. And Prabhupada writes, so ultimately the Paramahamsa is a true, in the true sense of a term, are unalloyed devotees of the Lord. Srila Jiva Goswami has directly accepted that the highest destination is Bhakti Yoga, by which one renders transcendental loving service of the Lord. Those who accept the path of Bhakti Yoga are the factual Paramahamsas. And Prabhupada, since the Lord is very kind to everyone, the impersonalists who accept Bhakti as a means of merging into Lord's impersonal existence, the Brahmajyoti, are also awarded their desired destinations. So this is what we are discussing. So Lord is giving whatever people want. He is interfering in this matters of this creation and he is trying to help. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, there are two classes of Paramahamsas. The name is Brahmanandis, impersonalists, and Premanandis, devotees. Right? And this shloka where we discussed how the Lord is associated with the Edu dynasty, who is always a problem for non-devotees, but is supreme enjoyer of both material and spiritual worlds, yet he enjoys his own abode in spiritual sky. There is no equal. Now, Prabhupada writes in this nice purport. Prabhupada says there are two sides of transcendental manifestation of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. For the pure devotees, he is the constant companion, as in the case of his becoming one of the family members of Edu dynasty, or is becoming a friend of Arjuna, or is becoming the associate neighbor of the inhabitants of Vrindavan, as the son of Nanda Yashoda, the friend of Sudama, Sridama, and Madhumangala, or the lover of the damsels of Brajabhumi. These are aspects of his personal feature. The Lord has two. One is personal. And by his impersonal feature, he expands the rays of Brahmajyoti, which is limitless and all pervasive. Part of his all pervasive Brahmajyoti, which is compared to sun rays, is covered by the darkness of Mahatattva, and this insignificant part is known as material world. So, in this material world, there are innumerable universes like the one you can experience, and each of them there are hundreds and thousands of planets. This is what is. And then there is spiritual world where beyond Brahmajyoti, the Prabhupada is as the rays are concentrated in the sun disk, the Brahmajyoti is concentrated in Goloka Vrindavan, the topmost spiritual planet in the spiritual sky. The innumerable spiritual sky is full of spiritual planets named Vaikunta, far beyond the material sky. And this is purpose. Even in the future, they cannot go with. So again, we are having one more Chandrayaan 3. The mundaners have insufficient information of even the mundane sky. So what can they think of the spiritual sky? Therefore, the mundaners are always far, far away from this. With their tiny rockets, they are having difficulty reaching even the nearest planet, the moon. Therefore, what can they conceive of the spiritual sky and the planets there? Even if they, in the future, they are able to manufacture some machine whose speed may be accelerated to the velocity of wind or mind, the mundaners will still be unable to imagine reaching the planets in the spiritual sky. And Prabhupada says, in the spiritual sky, the Lord's opulence is immeasurable. Not only all the pleasures in the spiritual sky are also unmeasurable. There unlimited happiness is there. There is I sometimes this doubt comes. Arey, everything for Lord only. What I will enjoy? Here, you cannot watch movies. You cannot do this. You cannot do this. How can we enjoy in this? But the happiness in the spiritual is so unlimited. We cannot even imagine only. The all the senses are completely satisfied. That much level. But the what is the main thing that should be changed is ego only. All other things will remain same. The senses are there, sense that are all spiritual senses, spiritual sense objects. What need to be changed is the ego. Now, if you have material ego, false ego, we are in this material world. You have I am a servant, and now servant also enjoys all the opulence which master is having because he stays with him. Master is having nice air conditioned house. Servant also has. He will also stay in the house. He is also enjoying. There is not a problem. Lord is ready to share everything he has with him. Only thing is we need to change the settings. There is a corrupt program that is already in our system. We need to change that corrupt program. We need to make it proper. We need to set it proper. That is what we are doing. And here he resides in the spiritual world. The mover Vaikuntha plans by expanding his plenary portions along with his liberated devotees associate, but the impersonalists who want to merge into existence are allowed to merge as one of the spiritual sparks of Brahmajyoti. This is the problem with them. And Prabhupada takes so much explain. Now, this is another important understanding. Yeah, just to go abroad, we need visa. Yeah, to go to moon also we need permission from a higher authority. Yes, true. They may go, Prabhupada says they are going to some Rahu planet which is before the moon. That's why they are finding all these things. But even that also I am doubtful. Where they're going somewhere, but we don't have access for some things. We may extend means we see something very grossly, but there's something on a very subtle level which we don't have access. Anyway, I also don't know where they went. Like, and they went somewhere that is there. They are not cheating, but where they went, we don't. And Krishna Prabhupada, right? Natasya bhasetu suryo na shashanko na pavaka yad gatva na nivartante tadham paramapa. So this is the Lord's Vaikuntha planet, which is self Swadhama, does not require any sunlight or moonlight or electricity for illumination. The Dhama, or place, is supreme, and whoever goes there never comes back to this material world. This is, and then Prabhupada quotes from Kat Upanishad, Mundak Upanishad, Upanishad, where about the spiritual world it is nicely explained. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra taraka, all these things. He's just trying to establish about the spiritual world. And then he is also quoting about the Brahma Jyoti from where Ishopanishad. Hiranmayena patrena satyasyapi hitam mukham tattvam purnam varanam satya dharmaya drishyate. And then this is another important nice shloka. He says, let me offer my respectful obeisances. So first shloka is telling about how the first shloka is talking about the powers of the Lord. And second shloka is talking about how Lord intervenes. And the third shloka, he is talking how Lord is always near to his pure devotees, and he is trying to become friend, become the family member, becoming very close to the devotees. That means he develops that love. That is the difference I was telling. No? How Lord intervenes, and we can develop a relation with him. Now, from here onwards, this is a very Tasmai Subhadre Sravaso Namo Namaha. So this is the line you get for every shloka. Tasmai Subhadre Sravasve Namo Namaha. This is a very important. Yat Kirtanam, Yat Shravanam, Yad Ikshanam, Yad Vandanam, Yad Shravanam, Yad Arhanam, Lokasya Sadyo Vidunoti Kalmasham, Tasmai Subhadre Shravase Namo Namaha. These are the shlokas. This end with Tasmai Subhadre Shravase Namo Namaha. This is a very famous series of shlokas. You can by heart. And he says, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna, about whom glorification, remembrance, audience, prayers, hearing, and worship can at once cleanse the effect of all sins of the performer. Tasmai Subhadre So Namah. We offering obeisances again and again. Now, this is 15, 16, 17. Three verses will end with this. To him, hearing about him bringing good luck and purifies the heart. And these are very famous shlokas. I bow down in deep reverence to all merciful Sri Krishna, because this is actually what happens. Now, all words are in the singular. Kirtanam, Shravanam, Ikshanam, Vandanam, Shravanam, Arhanam. After hearing about him even once, that means one time seeing. It is not telling uh, you have to hear continuously. Even one time hearing, one time chanting his name, one time taking darshanam, one time, a person is immediately purified. No need to do many times. One time is sufficient. That much powerful. And next is also very nice shloka. We'll just read uh, the little bit per. And now Prabhupada is telling he's telling that how these three verses are talking about the smile. We'll just read the purport, and then the famous shloka comes of Kirata Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasha. We'll just read little bit from the purport just one time. But what Prabhupada writing, very nice purports. Prabhupada writes, the sublime form of religious performances to free oneself from all reactions of sin is suggested herein by the greatest authority, Srila Sukadeva Goswami. Kirtanam, or glorifying the Lord, can be performed in very many ways, such as remembering visiting temple to see the deity, offering prayers in front of the Lord, and hearing recitation of glorification of Lord, as they are mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam or in the Bhagavad Gita. Kirtana can be performed both by singing the glories of Lord in, in accompaniment with melodious music and by recitation of scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. So what we are doing is now Kirtanam only in one way. We are reading Prabhupada purports and Sukadeva Goswami's shlokas from Bhagavatam. A devotee need not be disappointed in the physical absence of the Lord, thinking they are not associating with Him. The devotional process of chanting, hearing, remember, etc., either all or some of them, or even one of them, can give us the desired result of associating with the Lord by discharging the transcendental loving service of the Lord in the above manner. Prabhupada says, even the very sound of the holy name of Lord Krishna, Lord Rama, can once surcharge the atmosphere spiritually. We must, that's why we have this Prabhupada Dhun mission. We always keep at home. We also have. Before when class is there, we switch it off. Because that mission is there, it always helps for us to remember Krishna and chant his names. The question is, could you please elaborate the statement, the devotees need not worry about the physical absence of the Lord. Now, Krishna was 5,000 years back and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was 500 years back. Now they are not present. But they are present in the form of the name, in the form of the glories, in the form of association of devotees. In that way, that is why devotees are not worried that Lord is not directly present, because He is present in all His different forms. That is the advantage. So that's what. Devotees need not be disappointed in the physical absence of the thinking that they are not associating with him. But the devotional process of chanting, hearing, remembering, either all of them or even one of them, can give us the desired result of associating with the Lord by discharging the transcendental loving service of the Lord. That's we must know definitely that the Lord is present wherever such a pure transcendental service is performed. This is our faith. Lord is there when you start doing. And thus the performer of offenseless kirtanam, a positive association with the Lord. Similarly, remembrance and prayers also can give us the desired result if they are properly done under expert guidance. One should not concoct forms of devotional service. One may worship the form of Lord in a temple and may impersonally offer the Lord devotional prayers in a mosque or a church. This is another thing we need to know. This is a impersonal worship in the church or mosque because they don't have the form of the Lord. One is sure to get free from the reactions of sins provided one is very careful about not committing sins willingly in expectation of getting free from the reactions of sins by worshipping in the temple or by offering prayers in the church. This is seventh offense. This mentality of committing sins willfully on the strength of devotional service is called namno bala yasya papa buddhi. One, and it is the greatest offense in discharge of devotional service. Hearing, therefore, is essential in order to keep oneself strictly on guard against such pitfalls of sins. And in order to give such special stress to the hearing process, the Goswamis invoke all auspicious fortune in this matter. So this is very important statement. If we don't hear, then we'll commit offenses. That's why we need to hear it. Yes, Acha Vigraha is very powerful form of the Lord's association. And here also, this is also these three shlokas are Tasmai Subhadre Shrosho Namo Namah. Let me offer my respectful obeisances again and again unto the all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna and the highly intellectual simply by surrendering onto his lotus feet are relieved of all attachment to the present, future existence and without difficulty progress towards spiritual existence. And this is another important thing Prabhupada is telling. Krishna has repeatedly instructed Arjuna or, or that matter everyone concerned with becoming his unalloyed devotees. In the last phase of his instructions, Bhagavad Gita instructed most confidentially as follows. सर्वगुह्यतमं भूया शृणु मे परमं वचः इष्टोऽस्मि दृढमिति ततो वक्ष्यामि ते अहं मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मद्यादिमां नमस्कुरु मामेव ये सत्यं ते प्रतिजाने प्रियोऽस्मि सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं तान् सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि. So these three shlokas, they're very important. Means Krishna is giving, is explaining. He saw Arjuna was so much confused after hearing so much, and Krishna feels very compassionate. He says, "Okay, Arjuna, forget everything. Just surrender to me, and that's all. I will take it." So, by the persons who are intelligent take serious notice of his instructions, last instruction of the Lord. Knowledge of the self is the first step in spiritual realization, which is called confidential knowledge. And a step further in God realization is called more confidential knowledge. The culmination of knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is God realization, and when one attains this stage of God realization, he is naturally, voluntarily become a devotee of Lord and render him loving transcendental service. This devotional service to the Lord is always based on love of God and is distinct from the nature of routine service as prescribed karma, jnana, and dhyana yoga. So this is a great difference. About the soul is confidential knowledge. About understanding about God little more and all is more confidential. But the most confidential knowledge is rendering loving transcendental service. Now, there is one more thing that Prabhupada is trying to make us understand. This we discussed, I also explained. This devotional service to Lord always is based on love of God and is distinct from the nature of routine service as prescribed in karma, jnana, and dhyana yoga. So, because they are all selfish. Love means selfless. We want to give to our beloved. That is selfless. Whereas any other thing that are karma, jnana, yoga, it's all based on selfish interest. In the Bhagavad Gita, there are different instructions for men of different categories, and there are various descriptions for Varnashram Dharma, Sannyasa Dharma, Yati Dharma, the renounced order of life, controlling the senses, meditation, performance of mystic powers, etc. But one who fully surrenders unto the Lord, to render service unto Him out of spontaneous love for Him, factually assimilates the essence of all knowledge described in the Vedas. One who adopts this method very skillfully attains perfection of life at once. And this perfection of life is called Brahmagati, or the progressive march in the spiritual existence. As initiated by Srila Jiva Goswami, on the basis of Vedic assurance, Brahmagati means to attain a spiritual form as good as the Lord, and in that form, the liberated living beings eternally lives on one of the spiritual planets situated in spiritual sky. And Prabhupada writes, such devotional life is full of kirtanam, shravanam, ikshanam, etc., as mentioned in previous verse. One must therefore adopt the simple way of devotional life in order to attain the highest perfection available in any categories of human life, form of life in any part of the world. When Lord Brahma met Lord Sri Krishna as a playful child in Vrindavan, he offered his prayers in which he said, Shreyashritim Bhakti Mudasyate Vibho Klishyanti Ye Kevala Bodhalabdaye Tesham Kleshal Eva Shishyate Nanyatitastu Latushavagata. He says, Bhakti Yoga, the highest quality of perfection, is to be achieved by intelligent people in lieu of performing a large quantity of spiritual activity. The example cited here is very appropriate. A handful of real paddy is more valuable than heap of paddy skins without any substance within. Similarly, one should not be attracted to the juggling of karma kanda or jnana kanda or even the gymnastic performance of yoga, but skillfully should take the simple performance of kirtanam shravanam under a bona fide spiritual master and without any difficulty attain the highest perfection. We'll just take one last one and then we'll end. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna, Tapasvino, Danapara, Yasashvino, Manasvino, Mantravido, Sumangala, Kshemaya Navindanti Vinayat Aparanam, Tasmai Suladre, Shavasho Namo Namah. This is also, these three shlokas end like this. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna again and again, because the great learned sages, the great performers of charity, the great worker of destruction, the greatest philosopher and mystic, the great chanter of the Vedic hymns, and the great followers of Vedic principles cannot achieve any fruitive results without dedication of such great qualities to the service of Lord. So this is a very important verse. Without connection to the Lord, none of these performances, charity, mystic yoga, Vedic chants, all these things, I have no nothing only. Prabhupada writes, advancement of learning, a charitable disposition, political, social, or religious leadership of human society, philosophical speculation, the practice of yoga system, expertise in the Vedic rituals, and all similar high qualities in man serve one in attainment of perfection only. This is very important. Only when they are employed in the service of the Lord. Without such dovetailing, all such qualities become source of trouble for people in general. Everything can be utilized either for one's own sense of gratification or in the service of one another, service of one other than oneself. There are two kinds of self interest, two kinds of self, namely personal selfishness and extended selfishness. But there is No qualitative difference between personal and extended selfishness. Theft for personal interest or for the family interest or for the same quality, namely criminal, or for the same quality, there is criminal. A thief pleading not guilty because of committing theft, not for personal interest but for the interest of society or country, has never been excused by the established law of any country. People in general have no knowledge that the self interest or of a living being attains perfection only when such an interest coincides with the interest of the Lord. For example, what is the interest of maintaining the body and soul together? One earns money for maintaining the body for personal or social. But unless there is God consciousness, unless the body is being properly maintained to realize one's relation with God, all good efforts to maintain body and soul together are similar to the attempts of animal to maintain the body and soul. A very nice purport. Please read again. Homework for you. If you this is we need to understand it very nicely. This purport is so nice. The purpose of maintaining the human body is different from that of the animal. Similarly, advancement of learning, economic development, philosophical research, study of Vedic literature, or even the execution of pious activity like charity, opening of hospitals, and distributing of food grain should be done in relation with Lord. The aim of all such acts and endeavors must be the pleasure of Lord and not the satisfaction of any other identity, individual or collective. The same principle is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, where it is said that whatever we may give in charity and whatever we may observe in austerity must be given over to the Lord or to be done on his account only. The expert leaders of godless human civilization cannot bring about a fruitful results in any of their different attempts in educational advancement or economic development unless they are God conscious. This purport now we'll read tomorrow also. To become God conscious, one has to hear about the all auspicious Lord, and he is described in the literatures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.